Well, hello, folks. It's Angel from Reb's Community. I got a few of the other guys behind me. As you see, Nicole's messing with her makeup. Like I told her, it's late at night, and who really cares, if it's perfect this late at night? But anytime she can see herself, right? Well, it's been a week. Don't even know where to start, really. This video is about an incident that started last weekend. Now, as y'all know, we had that rare operation called a hemicorporectomy, and you can learn more about that in some of our other videos. But basically, we've tried to become an advocate for other people that might be having the surgery, even though it is extremely rare. And we have helped some people. We have sadly lost some people. One lady during the operation. But we still reach out and we still try to help, and we have some success cases. And one gentleman from Texas, just seeing him with his child smiling and enjoying life makes us feel so good that we could help his family. We never spoke to him personally, and we wish we one day would, but we worked with the family. So someone messaged me and said that they were going to be in need of this operation. And we started to talk. Now, we've had 58 operations. To not exaggerate, probably been in the hospital close to 500 times in our life, for long periods of time. We grew up in a children's hospital, so we've got a touch of knowledge of how hospitals are. And the story it just wasn't sounding right. But how do you say to a person who's saying, I'm going through a major, Nicole, stop it. I'm going through a major operation and I'm scared and I've got questions and you're the only person I know to talk to. How do you say to that person, well, I kind of think you're lying? But I did my research. I checked his profile. He claimed that 4 months ago he was in a car accident, which he said was his fault, that he was drinking. And as I told him, I don't judge. And if a person had a wreck while drinking and ended up needing half of their body removed, I mean, they've paid their price, obviously. Well, he said that since the accident, he had been in the hospital for 4 months. Now, I found that odd. I said, so you accumulated these pressure sores while you were in the hospital? And he said, yes, and I know that's bugging you, Nicole. I don't know how to fix it, but you're driving me nuts with it. Sorry, guys, the joy of multiplicity. I'm thinking of moving the camera where she can't see us while I'm trying to talk. He said he'd been in the hospital the entire time, and he had gotten these bed sores, and they had gotten gangrene, and that he was going to have a hemicorporectomy. That didn't make sense, and if it was true, like I told him, I'd be suing the hospital. And I personally, Angel and LaDonna, sorry, we would probably want to go there and teach these people how to take care of handicapped people. But it just didn't seem right. Some hospitals don't turn patients like they should. I'm aware of that. But when you bathe a patient, even as a CNA, you learn to look for broken areas on the skin. So even if he had laid in the bed, the wrong bed, and had acquired a decubitus sore, or a bed sore in layman's term, it would have been noticed and thus treated. So it made it sound like A, they didn't turn him, B, they noticed it and never did anything and let it turn into gangrene. So like I said, I'm feeling iffy. I tried to call the hospital because he told me it was in room 187. Now, if you know anything about hospitals, unless you're looking at an extremely small town and a small hospital, patients are not usually on the first floor. That's usually ER, labs, doctor's offices. Even if they don't have an ER, it's still administration. Patients don't go on the first floor. So the first hospital I called agreed with me that patients would not be on that floor, even though, with HIPAA laws and all that, she couldn't verify whether there was a patient or not. Well, then I said to him, at first I couldn't find the hospital. He said, well, this is the name of my rehab floor. Now I'm lividly angry because, wait a minute, you're on a rehab floor and they allowed this to happen? But okay, let's move forward. I called the hospital again, this next hospital, and they let me know there were doctor's offices, and they transferred me to surgery. And I think the lady was trying to tell me without breaking HIPAA law, because she said, if you feel uneasy advocating for this person, then probably best odds would not to do it. But I, Angel, and Tammy, we believe God saved us in order to help other people not get bed sores or make it through this operation. So just pushing them away, just when they're screaming, they're scared, you're the only person to help them. So we're like, all right. He gave us a cell number. I said, I really rather have a hospital number. I've had issues in the past. I want to be able to call the hospital number and get your room. He gave me another number, which did not match the hospital, by the way. Then, and it's late at night. I'm like, we'll talk tomorrow. The next day came. I tried that number. It seemed more like maybe an orthopedic clinic, but yet I was on hold forever, and it just rang and rang and rang. And he's in my IMs and Facebook at the same time going, are you calling me? Are you calling me? And I'm like, I'm trying. And he says, well, my cell phone would just be easier. And I'm thinking, well, I'm running up my minutes attempting to call a number. I'm not getting an answer. Maybe at least if I hear his voice, I could tell something. He called. There's a hospital background sound, if you know what I'm saying. He sort of had that. I never heard any pages or anything, but it was late at night. He FaceTimed, but he didn't turn on the lights because he said it wasn't allowed, which seemed, again, odd. I gave him my doctor's numbers. He kept asking me questions, and I tried to answer them. He seemed more concerned. Supposedly, he was 28 years old and a virgin. And he seemed more concerned about the fact that he was losing his penis than that he was having a life-threatening operation that, maybe 300's been done and 60's lived. And I said that to him. I said, I'm really sorry. I know that it's horrible that this has happened. I said, but I would think you would be more concerned about living. Well, he went on with some other questions. I expressed my feelings. I spent time trying to get to know this person and to help this person. For a couple of days, I would say, hi, I hope you're doing good, prayers. He'd say, okay, or thank you. I thought, well, he's having a bad day. I mean, I had days I didn't want to say any more, nothing, Well, then all at once I get an IM that says, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening tomorrow. So I go, wait, what's happening tomorrow? You can't be having this entire operation tomorrow. What are you talking about? Are you having, because it can be done in 2 stages. The first stage is to put an ileostomy and a colostomy, since you have no way of voiding waste once the bottom of you is gone. And he says, yes, that's it. Okay, I said I would keep him in my prayers and wished him luck. And we ourselves have a therapist, and this was Friday, so the next day would be Saturday. And she came and we talked to her about it, which I don't feel is breaking confidentiality as an advocate, because I consider her part of my team, because she's who I go to, so I can be strong enough to help other people. I said, it seems odd to have surgery on Saturday. So right before she left, I said, I'm just going to send him an IM. Just saying, thinking about you, hoping, everything went well. Because I knew from experience, Nicole, you're driving me nuts. You really are. Please, everybody tell Nicole this late at night, makeup does not matter. And she made me lose my train of thought. Oh, well, so I knew just to do a basic ileostomy and colostomy usually takes around 8 to 9 hours. If they make the shelf out of the fat tissue inside your body for your organs to lay on, which is a really good help when you have this surgery, then that takes anywhere from 9 to 14 hours. I was in ICU overnight. At least he's going to be in recovery druggy. What should happen 10 minutes later? He messages me. Odd. You had surgery and you're able to message me. He says, I can't pee normal anymore. Which sounded realistic. I mean, that was one of my thoughts when I realized I had the colostomy and the ileostomy. And I'm like, well, I said, to tell you the truth, peeing's overrated. I'm a person who tries to make humor help things. Well, then he tells me that he's at Albany. I go, Albany Medical Center, because I'd given him my doctor's number, which was from Albany Medical Center. And he says, yes. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Now, keep in mind, by this point, me and my therapist, neither one, are really believing what we're hearing. So I said, and it really wasn't a lie, I know the director very well there, and I know most of the doctors on the team, and could probably call a few of them at their house. And I'm like, that's great. I can help you more now. I said, but I really have talked to, the other workers and the other people who help me advocate, including my inner personalities, which I didn't tell him. And I said, in order for me to continue to help you, I need a name and a room number. So he gave me his room number. His name was a regular name. It wasn't, how some names sound really made up. And they didn't have him at the room he gave me, 207, which would have been internal medicine, so I was kind of confused. I'm like, okay, did they do the ileostomy and the colostomy and decide to put him on internal medicine and later put him up to orthopedics? So now I call the orthopedic floor, because I was there for 8 months. So I know a lot of people there. And again, HIPAA. The only thing that they could say to me was, Angel, we haven't had anybody yet come through here to have your surgery. I go, okay, thank you. So I say to him, they won't let me through because I don't have a correct name. He says, oh, it's not Albany Medical Center. It's Albany something else. In Colorado, mind you. Now, he started out in Buffalo, New York. His Facebook profile said he was in Texas. He said he came to Buffalo for a job interview, I guess got drunk, had his wreck. So he gives me a number. He tells me to ask for this room and use the name, which was right there. So I call the number, supposedly a hospital. And I get more of, you know, that machine that your cell phone goes to when you don't answer. So that right there told me I'm being lied to. And all at once the phone rang back. This is Albany such and such hospital. What room may we direct you to? Well, A, how many times does that happen? Okay. So I said, why don't you connect me with the director? Because I'm not about to ask for the room number because I know what he's going to do. He's then going to change his voice and pretend. Anyway. And he's like, well, it's the weekend. He's not here. I said, then connect me to your ER, please. And I wait on hold. And then finally we hung up because nothing happened. Now, all along, he's in my Facebook. I am. And he finally says to me, can I be honest? Well, let me tell you, Nicole, anytime you start a sentence with, may I be honest, after you've been talking to somebody, then obviously you've been doing a heck of a lot of lying. So now I'm angry. Angel's in tears, and I'm angry. So I kind of started being a little, I guess, domineering. And I'm like, listen, without your correct name, hospital, room number, we are not helping you. No, let me be honest. You're going to be mad. Oh, hell, yeah, we're going to be mad. We're already mad. But go ahead, tell us, please. Come on, we don't need to be angry, Nicole. Anyway, he said to me, Angel, he said, I am a devotee. Now, for those of you who do not know what a devotee is, you can look it up online. I can give you the official definition. Wow, I wonder what it looks like when I'm not looking at myself. That's really funny. Devotee definition. I'll put this in the link as well. A devotee is a person who is very interested in and enthusiastic about someone or something. Now, in this case, these devotees follow people who are disabled or who are amputated. Now, Angel, do not put all devotees into one basket. I know a gentleman who is a devotee. He is a perfect gentleman. He talks to us about other things other than our disability. He's been our friend since the surgery. So I hate to wrap everyone into one person. But getting back to our story, he says, I am a devotee, but I am having this operation. Huh? So I'm like, well, then you're not just a devotee. You are a person who has body dysphoria, something like that. And he says, I feel like my body's wrong. I want to be cut like you are. And I said, well, first of all, you must be rich because the surgery itself is $3 million. That's legally. He said he had found someone on the black market, the behind the scenes, to do the operation. As crazy as it sounds, I have heard of people finding doctors who would cut off fingers, even legs, arms. It's dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. If it's a fetish, it it's a fetish that could kill you. But I still couldn't see even these type of doctors doing an operation like this, because it's involving the spinal cord. It involves the main large artery that goes down your spine. It involves your organs. I had a team of, I believe, 7 doctors. So, you need a vascular surgeon, you need an endocrinologist, you need an orthopedic, you need a lot of people. And I was just in shock. Angel was in shock. Nicole and them were mad. I was in shock. I was hurt that I'd been lied to. I was hurt that anybody would go to this extreme. As they say, I'm also kind of a little, they call it stupid, but my thought still was, if this man has really found people unethical enough to do this operation, I mean, if you have a 4% chance with everything in play done legally, what kind of chance would you have in what would basically be considered something like a back alley operating system? And so what I've decided to do at this point is I'm going to save the entire IM in Facebook from day one. And I know that once I unfriend him, that won't be there, because I am going to be unfriending and blocking him at this point. So as I'm trying to scan up, to highlight it, to save it, he keeps calling and calling, which of course, anytime something goes in the IM, it makes it fall back down. He called 22 times in Facebook. He called once or twice on the phone. I'm ignoring it all. Finally, I decide the only way I'm going to get this copied and pasted is if I get him to stop calling. So I said, I've got something that's came up. Give me 10 minutes, dear, and we'll talk again. This would prevent him from typing. He's already told me in type that I have abandoned him. Earlier, before he told the truth, he asked me if I was calling him a liar, which, I mean, can you imagine how that felt? Not knowing exactly 100% for sure the man was lying at that point, and thinking, oh my God, I've just told a person that's life's hanging in the balance that they're a liar. Angel, felt horrible. But anyway, I regress. I got him to stop long enough for me to copy the entire message. I copied the entire message from day one. I pasted it into my note. I've got something called OneNote or something like that. And then I went and deleted and blocked him. And then I went to Facebook and I expressed how I felt. And you can find that on my Facebook at angel.lincoln@gmail.com. The devotee that I had mentioned that I knew, that is a perfect gentleman, he wrote back. Well, first my daughter wrote. She asked me who. Well, I know she has him on her friends list because we were all going to try to help him through this. So I told her. Plus, I figured I don't want him scamming other people. And then my friend, who is a devotee, the gentleman, he let me know that this guy had done this to his friend. So by then I didn't care that I'd put his name out there. So he was lying. Now, either he was lying about the whole thing, or somehow he's found someone unethical enough to do this life-saving procedure that's very rare. And if you look for, and I will try to put a link, I'm so bad at putting links, I apologize, but if you look up the word hemicorporectomy, it's HemicorporitY. It just made me forget it. Think I spelled it right. Let me check again, guys. I'll also give you what the definition according to the dictionary is. Yes, it's Hemicorporectomy. Okay? It's a surgery, and the definition is, this is a radical surgery in which the body below the waist is amputated, transecting the lumbar spine. This removes the legs, the genitalia, internal and external, urinary system, pelvis bones, anus, and rectum. You can find that if you type in hemicorporectomy definition. You can also find out what a rare operation it is. He found me from my YouTube that I have with Channel 13 News from Albany, New York. Well, all said and done, I don't know. I've not talked to him. I don't know what's going on. I really don't believe that any doctor would attempt this. And if you think about it, if it's a, let's call it back alley operating room, okay? And you've got your back alley doctors, and you start to bleed out, they're not calling an ambulance, okay? Because it's illegal, what they're doing. Granted, most states say if you call in order to save someone's life, but this is a little bit more. You know, the whole operation is blown. Not his operation, even though that would be too, but the whole business they've got going. They're going to let the man die on the table. And then they're going to dispose of the body. I mean, what other choice is there? If he really is having this done. There's a lot of groups that want to be amputees. I do not know what drives the person's psychological thinking to this point. I wrote a paper on do you really want to be an amputee? And if you'd like, I will even read that to you in another video. This one's getting kind of long. But long story short, we don't know. The others say that I and Tammy were stupid because even though it really upset us horribly when we went to sleep that night, I did pray that somehow this guy, I don't know, finds the light, does something. Oh, I missed a point. He called me on my flip phone. Now, I am horrible with electronics. These newfangled gadgets, I'm an old woman. Give me a ringing phone any day. But anyway, I don't know how to block him. So I open it up and I can hear him. And I'm looking for a way to block him while he's rambling. And he says, "Honey, are you okay?" Well, then all of us let him have it with all four barrels. Just how okay we were not, how we hoped he had learned something, how much he had hurt, what damage he had done, and if he really was going through this, that we hoped he seek the proper doctors, including a psychologist. Now, we don't have the phone up to our ear, but obviously he can hear us. And the others kind of jumped in, and I think basically he was told to go to hell. I'm not even sure. Angel kind of blanked out of it because we were so angry. But anyway, this is how far people will go. And I don't understand it. Now I'm torn. I, Angel, and especially Tammy, with me. We feel God saved us. We're supposed to help others. If we say no to the next person who says, I need help, that might really be a person that needs help. If we say yes, we may end up in a big, long thing like this. And yes, as the guys just said inside, hopefully we get smarter each time. But it's really hard to say to someone who's telling you they're dying and they have to have an operation or they're going to die. It's really hard to say, with the first red flag, okay, I don't believe you. Maybe somebody else besides me, Angel, needs to do it. I don't know. But my daughter said something, and so did my sister Blue. Sister Blue said, don't let this stop me from being the caring person I am. And my daughter said, the devil is going to throw people like that your way just to make you stop doing what God has intended for you to do. So I guess us guys, especially the main core of us, I guess we're going to continue to try to help. The guys say they're going to try to help me more to stand up and be strong enough to figure out what's going on. But it really breaks my heart. I'm a very forgiving person. I don't want to say no to the wrong person and have them go through this alone, because we know what it was like going through it by ourselves, even though we had our 50+1, as we called it. It was some of the hardest days of our lives. It was so hard that none of us could do it. And there had to be another altar formed to actually go through the surgery. And it just breaks my heart not knowing what to do. I don't want it to change who I am. I've always been, Tammy and I both. The one thing our grandmother used to say that was true, we'd give the shirt off our back. But you also get tired of being the good guy and getting hurt and stompled on. So that's my story of how someone spent over a week of my time when I could have been with my family. I could have been here videoing. I could have been doing a lot of things. By the way, the producer is back here, Nisa. She's always keeping track of things. She's going to look. No, I thought she was going to look at it. She's not. I really appreciate you guys listening. I am going to read the Do You Want to Be an Amputee letter in the next video. Be careful. There's people out there who will go to the most furthest extremes to spam you out of money or spam you out of your time, spam you with your heart. So again, this is the guys. Angel, Nicole's been here a little bit. Got LaDonna in the background and Tammy. And we just wanted to tell you the story of what happened. And if anybody else has had this experience, please let us know. We also have a group, and we're going to need some help on making a decision about that. And I will probably come to you all on that. But this is already at 33 minutes, so I'm going to close it, and I'm going to read off the letter. Do you really want to be an amputee? Something that we wrote ourselves. I'm sure the other guys helped me. Every time I write, I think it's kind of a combination of us. But loves and hugs. Click that like button. Hey, if you hadn't hit the subscribe button, please do so. We only need 8 more members and we can start getting our ads up. I know I hate ads too, but if it pays the bills and can get me some, a backdrop or something to make my videos even better, I'm definitely going to be here more. So from Reb's community to your homes, bless you. God bless America. And we will see you on the next video.